The clock is ticking for parents to apply for grade 1 and grade 8 admissions at Gauteng schools. Admissions close at midnight. The Education Department noted a record number of applications when the system went live in May. For a breakdown of those figures and what parents should expect going forward, we're joined by the Gauteng's Education MEC, Panyaza Lesufi. Good evening, sir. Thanks very much for your time. With just over, 4 hours to go before the system closes. Do you have any idea how far you've gone?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Indeed, we are thrilled, actually. We are excited that we are now reaching almost 300,000 parents that have applied for their children to be in our system. Remember, they are given 5 options, so we've got the latitude to play around with those 5 options. But where we are now, we really believe that we've done well. I mean, this is the first time that we've got these historic numbers. It means parents are accepting the online registration as the future, and it makes things easier for them. But we're still worried. There are almost 62,000 parents that have applied, but have not given us the documents to know who they are, whether indeed they've got legitimate children, and whether indeed they've got the proof of addresses. But we are hopeful by end of August, all those things will be sorted out.
Why is this information important? To a parent out there who may have applied but not given you the document.
It is important to avoid duplication because if you are a mother and you are a father as well, you can say, let's try the system, try on the other side, I'll try on the other side. Or you ask an aunt somewhere to say, you try as well. So you find that there are 3 applications, but only is 1 learner. So if you don't give us documents, we'll not be in a position to verify whether it's 1 learner or not. But also, we've got many people in the system, as I said, 300,000, and we are looking for almost 180,000 learners. So if you've got 300,000, the sooner we eliminate those that are not real, the better for those that are waiting for real places. So if we can clear that aspect, I think it will make things easier for us.
What happens if by midnight you haven't received the documents? What then happens to the child's, to that application?
Come the 1st of October, the system goes to what we call cleansing, which simply means that it cleans itself. It takes those that have not given us the documents. It also takes out those that don't qualify. It also takes out those that have not filled the entire document that is needed to be filled. So it goes on a cleansing process. And from the 30th of August until the 31st of November, we then place learners, which simply means that parents will get SMSs. So if by the 30th of August, parents have not given us the document, automatically they will forfeit their position, and that's unfortunate. We don't want that.
Which means what exactly? What then happens?
It means that if the 62,000 that we have, compared to the overall 300,000, we'll minus 62,000 and remain with almost 240,000 parents.
What happens to those children?
It's because they've not given us documents. It means they're no children. Yeah. It means they're no children because they've not given us documents. Because the basic document we need, for example, if you're grade 1, is the immunization card, the ID of a parent, and also the proof of address. So if you don't give us those documents, it's quite clear that maybe it's a fictitious application.
But what options will they still have? Let's say through negligence, right? The parents did not submit the requisite documentation. How will that child have options?
Yes.
Afterwards?
Yes, they do. And that is until the end of August, until the end of next month. So by the 30th of August. So we're saying to them, you have not given us document, even though the system is closing tonight, you have until the 30th of August to give us those documents.
But will they somehow be negatively affected now? Does it mean that they may not get the schools that they would have? Are they going to be disadvantaged?
No, not at all.
In any way?
They're disadvantaging themselves by not giving us documents because we've captured the information. So if by the 30th of August they're not bringing those documents, we will assume that they were testing the system, and therefore we'll give it to people that are on the waiting list.
Yes, this application opened in May.
Yeah.
Between May and now, what have you been doing to actually make sure that people do what is required of them?
Well, for the first time, unfortunately, we are affected by elections, so we didn't want the election period to affect the system. That is why we opened it in May. But also, there are parents that says we come to Johannesburg only during school holidays, so we also accommodated the school holidays, and that's the reason. So now we know everyone has been accommodated, those that are outside the province and those that are within the province, those that have computers and those that don't have computers, all of them have been accommodated. We had 4 full months of application period that we've given to our people. So we're quite thrilled that they've responded positively, and come the 1st of October, we'll be in a position to give them those happy SMSs to say your child is placed at school X or school Y.
But just overall, what has the introduction of this system really done to education in the province?
It has eliminated lots and lots of backlogs. For example, now we know which schools people prefer, which simply means that those that they don't prefer, we have to work very, very hard to turn the corner to ensure that they're at the same level. Secondly, it indicates to us where we need to hire and appoint new educators. It also indicates to us where we need to build new schools. But most importantly, it gives us a reliable profile of our learners so that we can go to Treasury and say, this is the tangible number of learners that have applied to come to Gauteng. So we'll need the budget that match the numbers. Previously, we had to thumbsuck because we didn't have tangible and reliable information. Now we've got information on the basis of ID numbers. We have information in terms of birth certificate of learners. We've got a profile of those particular learners so we can plan ahead, which is very, very important.
So, but have those conversations already taken place? In other words, have you been able to go to Treasury and say, look at this information, and have they responded accordingly?
They've responded accordingly, but the reality is that there is, in government cycles, we call it a mismatch. Learners come here, but the budget go to rural areas, and learners are coming to Gauteng. So we need to find a mechanism of ensuring that the budget follows learners. And if you can get that, I think we'll be happy. But for now, we are satisfied with what the Treasury is giving us.
Okay, that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you very much for coming through. The Gauteng MEC for Education, Panyaza Lesufi. Well, if you still haven't provided the department with those documents, you still have about 4 hours and 13 minutes